Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Recent reports of a new signing to WWE have created quite a buzz in the community. However, a veteran believes that Triple H is not making the right decision regarding it. The signing being talked about is Rey Fenix, who is seemingly set to appear on SmackDown sooner rather than later. The decision to have him not join Penta on Raw has prompted discussion, considering the two were a successful tag team in AEW. According to Vince Russo, the recruitment of Fenix is by itself indicative of Triple H making poor business decisions. Speaking on Riding with Russo, Vince Russo referred to both Triple H and Tony Khan as marks and stated that they were thinking like wrestling enthusiasts rather than like businessmen looking to make profits. He said, according to Vince Russo, the recent events in WWE, including the new signing, indicate that Triple H is no longer thinking about gaining casual fans. During the same episode of Riding with Russo, the veteran addressed a question regarding whether the decision to separate Rey Fenix and Penta was to give them singles runs. He stated, "The world of professional wrestling is often as much about the behind-the-scenes drama as it is about the in-ring performances. With every passing year, the business grows more complex, intertwined with media rights deals, sponsorships, and the continual evolution of wrestlers' personal brands. In the midst of this ever-shifting landscape, the roles of key figures such as Triple H, one of WWE's most influential leaders, are constantly scrutinized, debated, and analyzed. A recent development has added fuel to the fire of those who feel that the direction WWE is headed in may be off course. According to multiple sources within the company, a WWE veteran, who is rumored to have signed a new deal with the company, has taken issue with decisions made by Triple H and the creative team. The veteran, whose identity remains confidential at this point, did not mince words when criticizing the direction WWE has been going under Triple H's leadership, specifically labeling him a mark and implying that the decisions being made in WWE are more about personal interest and nostalgia than sound business acumen. For many fans who are familiar with the term, the word mark in the wrestling world can have negative connotations. Historically, it has referred to a fan who believes the in-ring action is real or authentic, as opposed to understanding the scripted nature of the sport. It is often used to describe someone who is easily swayed by emotional storytelling or nostalgic connections, rather than approaching the business side of wrestling with a critical and savvy mindset. However, the term mark has evolved over time, and in recent years it has become more of a derogatory label for anyone within the business who is perceived as making decisions based on personal feelings or fan-like attachments rather than rational, cold, business judgment. When applied to someone in a position of power, such as Triple H, it implies that the person is letting sentimentality or passion cloud their decision-making, potentially putting the company's financial well-being at risk. The veteran in question, who reportedly has extensive experience in both the ring and in backstage operations, feels that Triple H's approach is too driven by personal preferences, nostalgia, and the desire to appease longtime fans, rather than keeping an eye on what will drive future success for WWE. This view is not just about one signing or one storyline, but about the broader trajectory of the company under Triple H's watch. The alleged signing and its impact on WWE's business strategy. The issue at hand stems from a recently reported signing by a WWE veteran, a veteran who some within the company feel should not have been brought back into the fold. While it's unclear exactly who the veteran in question is, the impact of such decisions is what has drawn scrutiny. Triple H, who has taken over WWE's creative direction after Vince McMahon stepped back, has often prided himself on taking into account the legacy of past wrestlers while also trying to modernize the product. He has been lauded for his nurturing of younger talent in NXT, his attempts to make the product more inclusive, and his efforts to bring in international stars. However, there is a growing sentiment that Triple H's focus on nostalgic stars, particularly those who might not draw the same level of interest with current audiences, could hinder WWE's long-term growth. One source within WWE noted that, while nostalgia is an important part of the wrestling business, relying too heavily on past legends could be detrimental. The belief is that WWE should be focusing more on creating new stars who can carry the company for years to come, rather than leaning on the past to fill gaps. The recent signing of this veteran has reportedly raised eyebrows internally, with critics arguing that it signals WWE's current leadership isn't making business-savvy decisions to ensure the company stays relevant in an ever-changing media landscape. This criticism is amplified by the veteran's remarks that they are not making business decisions. What seems to be implied here is that Triple H, in his quest to create compelling stories and maintain a sense of wrestling history, is not focusing enough on the numbers. The veteran believes that the focus on nostalgia, past stars, and emotional connections is not the way forward. Instead, the emphasis should be on securing the future of WWE by investing in new talent, expanding the brand into new markets, and exploring other revenue-generating avenues. Nostalgia is a powerful tool in the wrestling world. Fans love to see their favorite stars from the past return for a special moment or match. It's a tried-and-true strategy that WWE has often relied on, from the return of The Rock to the surprise appearances of legends like Stone Cold Steve Austin. However, there's a fine line between leveraging nostalgia to enhance the product and over-relying on it to the detriment of the company's future. Triple H has always had a deep respect for the history of professional wrestling, particularly WWE's past. His approach to storytelling, both in NXT and on the main roster, has often included nods to the past, bringing back familiar faces, utilizing classic storylines, and keeping the legacy of the company alive for longtime fans. But in doing so, some have raised concerns that WWE may be neglecting the future of the product. By focusing too much on past stars, there's a risk of alienating younger audiences who may not have the same emotional connection to these individuals. While nostalgia may draw in a segment of the audience, it doesn't necessarily create new fans or expand the brand in the long term. The focus should ideally be on creating fresh stars who can carry the company into the next era of wrestling, something that may be harder to do if WWE continues to prioritize nostalgia over innovation. Triple H's time as head of creative has certainly seen mixed reactions. On one hand, there's been praise for his ability to elevate young talent and his efforts to make the product more inclusive. On the other hand, there's a growing concern that the continued reliance on past stars could lead to stagnation. The recent criticism from the veteran seems to be a reflection of this tension, as more and more voices within the company question whether Triple H is making the right moves for WWE's long-term future. The question now becomes whether Triple H can adapt to the changing landscape of professional wrestling. While he has undeniably had success in creating compelling television and revitalizing certain aspects of WWE, he must find a balance between honoring the past and looking toward the future. Wrestling fans can be fiercely loyal, but they also want to see the product evolve, offering new stories, new stars, and new experiences. It remains to be seen how Triple H will respond to this criticism and whether he will adjust his strategy moving forward. However, one thing is clear: the debate over how much nostalgia should influence WWE's direction is far from over, and it could shape the future of the company in profound ways. In conclusion, the idea that Triple H is being called a mark after this recent signing is an indication that WWE's leadership is facing a crossroads. Is WWE's creative future in good hands with Triple H, or is there a danger that his deep connection to the past will prevent the company from achieving long-term growth? Only time will tell whether Triple H will be able to find a way to satisfy both the old and the new in a business that demands constant evolution.